Hey there guys, what's going on? We are back with another best class setups in Modern Warfare video with a bit of a different one here. We recently took a look at one of the best sidearm setups in the game, and I've got another special one for you here today. We are of course talking about the Akimbo X16 pistols, which are seemingly way more powerful than anyone probably would have expected when they did release Akimbo into the game. For the most part, you can just spam to your heart's content, and you'll likely do a lot of work with these. It's pretty damn overpowered in my opinion if you do play in the right way. People die surprisingly quickly with this. You can just fire a load of bullets at them super quickly. It is actually pretty wild. Now, unlike the 357 snake shot, you're probably not going to be able to pull this out as part of its own class. I don't think the pistol is able to carry you on its own, but you are more than welcome to give it a try. And so I'm going to be talking about this as mostly a sidearm option, but I will give a bit of commentary as to using this as a primary where I can. The gameplay in the background is of course me using this as a primary just so you can see the power level of doing so, and because it's a little bit of a fun challenge for me. Just before we do get into this overpowered pistol class, let's try and get this video to 8 likes. The support from you guys has been even stronger than usual recently. We recently had a video go absolutely mental. Like, I'm pretty sure this has about 1,000 views as of recording this. Go check it out if you haven't seen it already. It is an overpowered Warzone class setup. It's one of the best in the game at the moment, so go check it out if you haven't already. So welcome to everybody who is new around here. I do of course appreciate you all. So if you haven't already, make sure you do go show that subscribe button some love with those notifications turned on so you don't miss any more of my videos. Right, let's talk about this overpowered X16 class setup. Right, so as I said, using this Akimbo as a secondary is pretty overpowered. The X16 pistol has been pretty slept on in this game until they added the Akimbo perk. I'd never actually used it before, I'm not gonna lie. This is loads of fun to use, and it is super powerful, which I definitely wasn't expecting when I did throw this class together. The faster you can pull the triggers here, the more kills you will get. You do have to play the game in a fairly aggressive, very specific way, and you'll definitely want to be sprinting around getting up close and personal, but man, this is a super powerful option in this game. If you've never used this before, you'll definitely be getting surprised when you do use this weapon. I certainly was. As you can probably see in the background, I am running this as a primary, but it is still pretty powerful. But it's definitely not the best as that way. For the most part, you're going to be getting like 3 to 6 shot kills, but you can fire them very quickly. So the sort of high-ish amount of bullets to kill isn't too much to worry about. So let's get into our class here. So we're going to start off with our primary perks and grenade choices here. We'll go over them quickly because they are pretty much the same on most of my classes. If you are planning on using this as your main weapon in the primary slot, you will want to be running the riot shield for maximum toxicity. It's also a pretty useful option for holding down areas like objectives and stuff like that, or providing a little bit of cover for your teammates. Plus, enemies just absolutely hate this. You are pretty susceptible to like enemy explosives and thermite and stuff like that, so do keep that in mind. But this is sort of the best option that you've got other than running it as a secondary. Perk 1, we usually run one of these 3. We got the EOD perk, which does reduce our explosive damage that we do take from non-explosive kill streaks, and fire, which is a really strong option, especially if there's loads of people running around with throwing C4s and stuff like that. Kill chain is another really powerful option to get those streaks into other powerful streaks, or my new personal favorite, quick fix, which does start that health regeneration after you do get a kill. Keep in mind, if you are planning on using this as a primary, so as your only weapon with the riot shield, you'll definitely need scavenger here, as you do resupply that ammo from dead players. You'll definitely need scavenger to help keep that ammo topped up. You do run out of ammo very quickly with this, so you'll need to follow up your kills by grabbing the scavenger bag pretty quickly, because like I said, you do run out very quickly, especially with this Akimbo. Perk 2 is of course Ghost. We want to stay off that radar, and this really helps with that, which is super strong. Plus, if you do somehow get advanced UAV, you'll be harder to track down. And this works in really great combination with our perk 3, which is of course Tracker, which makes this especially powerful being aggressive with these Akimbo pistols because you can see enemy footsteps and you can sneak up on them. Ghost and Tracker are a really powerful combination in this game, and it just really allows you to be sort of very stealthy and very quiet and sort of get behind people and take them by surprise. It's really strong, and you kind of have to do this with a class setup like this. In the lethal slot, we do have the C4, which is really strong for clearing out areas and chucking over walls, but all these do a specific role in a specific way, and they're all very powerful options. In the tactical slot, there is really only one choice for us, and that is the stim shot, just because you're a coward. If you use flashes and stuns, smokes aren't super useful. I mean, they're good for crossing corridors and stuff, and the rest aren't super great in this game. So our first attachment slot here is everybody's favorite monolithic suppressor. Hang on, that's not right. This is the oil can suppressor, which does a very similar job with the sound suppression and damage range that we do get from both of these. but with the oil can suppressor, our range is extended out a little bit more than the monolithic suppressor. Normally, you would also be able to use like a compensator in this slot, but with this, we want as much damage range as we can get. Like I did say previously, you're going to be getting, for the most part, 3 to 6 shot kills, depending on which part of the body that you do hit, and when you get those damage numbers from a little bit further out, you're always going to be more powerful. This is especially true when you're spam firing 2 pistols. Do keep in mind that the range on these things is not going to be super far. You're definitely not going to be cross-mapping people with this, but is a very, very powerful, aggressive option. I'd recommend running this for both options. If you are running this as a primary or a secondary, this is a fantastic option either way. And plus, it looks hilarious. You are literally sticking an oil can on the front of your weapon, and that is super, super funny. So in the muzzle slot, we do have the oil can suppressor, and that is a fantastic first option for this overpowered class setup. Our next slot is the barrel slot, and in this one we've got the Singuard Arms Advantage barrel. With this we do get damage range and bullet velocity at the cost of a little bit of aim down side speed, but again, because we are running this Akimbo, we don't have to worry about that at all. It's a pretty simple choice here. We want to be minimizing the amount of shots that we have to fire to get those kills, so increasing our range out a little bit further in combination with the oil can suppressor is a really, really strong option. At this point, pretty much every weapon in the game would always like to shoot a little bit further and a little bit faster. Normally, we would go with the Vanguard Elite barrel, as it does offer all 3 options with the damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. But in this case, we actually do get slightly more range out of the Singuard Arms Advantage than we do out of the Vanguard Elite, which is an interesting little tidbit. As I did mention in a previous slot, this is also another option that we would run in both styles of class. I'd actually looked at some of the other weapons with similar barrel choices, like the P90, which only has 2. Basically these 2 barrel options here, and in that particular case the one with the 3 options was the better barrel. Like basically it just had more range. I'm not sure if this is a specific like X16 quirk or whether it's just one of those Infinity Ward things that's just gets a little bit overlooked, but we really don't know. You definitely aren't going to be cross-mapping people with either of these barrels, so you do have to be very aggressive with this. But the Singuard Arms Advantage barrel is a perfect second option for this overpowered X16 class, as it does give us enough extra range to be super effective. Next, we've got the old reliable laser slot. I've messed around with this slot a little bit, and in this we are going to go with the 5mW laser. With this, we do get the hip fire accuracy and sprint to fire speed. This is basically the attachment that allows this class setup to be possible, other than the Akimbo perk, of course. With the improved hip fire spread that we do get from the 5mW laser, you're actually able to just sprint around and hip fire people with this. They basically feel like little shotguns when you're just mowing people down. Remember, the faster you can fire, the more kills that you're likely to get. This is a super powerful option. Normally, I'd argue the difference between this and the 1mW laser a little bit harder here, but I think the 1mW laser, the hip fire accuracy increase is actually a little bit smaller than that of the 5mW option. It's definitely a close call though. So if you don't want to have to worry about hiding those lasers, go with the 1mW option. But in my opinion, the 5mW option is stronger and allows us to be more aggressive and just rack up more of those kills. Both laser options would be appropriate to run on both classes, but if you are running it as a primary, I'd maybe look towards the 1mW option so as you don't give yourself away immediately with the lasers. And as a secondary, you're not really worrying about that too much because you're only pulling it out in close quarters, so lasers aren't super important. So for the sake of having a complete class setup here, we are going in the laser slot with the 5mW laser, and that is the 3rd attachment in this overpowered class. Next, another important option is the trigger slot. With this, we've got the lightweight trigger. This allows us to fire basically as fast as possible, which I mentioned already. The faster you can fire this thing, the more powerful that you are. It seems like every attachment slot for these pistol class setups is the most important one because they all play such a powerful role in making these weapons really, really powerful. I guess that effect is amplified slightly when you've got 2 of the same weapons as well, like with the Akimbo perk. It does make for some interesting and effective decisions in the class setup making process, but here there really is only one choice. You pretty much always want the fastest firing option in the trigger slot, just so you can keep mowing down those enemies. I wouldn't even look at the match grade trigger. Normally do give the match grade trigger a little bit of a look in here, but specifically with this class, it does reduce our hip fire accuracy, which we just can't really afford here. The lightweight trigger is a super powerful option that does give us the highest fire rate for the X16, and that's why we've chosen as the 4th attachment in this overpowered class. And lastly, we've got the attachment that does bring this class together. In the perk slot, we have got the Akimbo perk, of course. In this slot, you're getting pretty much everything that I just talked about: the muzzle, the barrel, the laser, the trigger. And you are throwing it all together and you are getting 2 of these, which is super, super strong. Slapping one of these in each of your hands makes you a one-man wrecking crew when you are playing up close and being really, really aggressive. You're probably not going to be able to take this into like Euphrates Bridge or anything like that, anything sort of one of those longer maps, and do work, but those close quarters, smaller style maps like Shoot House and Rust, you're definitely going to be able to put in some serious work with these. If you are using it as a primary, you'll have to really think about how you play and exactly where you want to move, because you can get caught out if you are just running around mindlessly. However, if you are using this as a sidearm, you can really use this like a pair of pocket shotguns. It's almost comparable to the 357 Snake Shot up close. People really don't stand a chance when they are fighting in close quarters with you. You're just really, really strong. So of course we've got the Akimbo perk in the perk slot, and it is the perfect attachment to round out this overpowered setup. Right, so this is our full class setup here. All of these attachments help bring together this overpowered class setup. I never thought I'd actually use the oil can suppressor in the game, but here we are. This is one of the most powerful and overpowered secondary setups that you can throw together. It is loads of fun to pull these out in close quarters and you just drop enemies left and right. You will struggle a little bit if you are running this as a primary though, but you can still have some pretty enjoyable moments and do some pretty crazy things that no other class setup in the game can do. So if you did enjoy this one and it did help you out at all, make sure you do leave a like and do subscribe if you are new around here. I appreciate every single person who watches the videos, likes them, leaves a comment, all that other good stuff. We, of course, did recently hit 500 subscribers, and we are really motoring on towards 600 now. I think as of recording this, we are at 525, which is really crazy considering it's only been a few days since we hit 500. Thank you very much for watching this, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye!